We are live. Hello, Outschool community. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Stephanie. How are you today,
Hey,
Stephanie?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Megan.
Wonderful. So this is our first live session that we've ever done where we've had somebody use two cameras and yeah, there's the other half of Stephanie. It's like it's like a magic show where magicians like disconnect people and put them back together. Um, so yes, I love it. So Stephanie and I have been backstage for a while now, kind of testing, and we've got a little bit of an echo from the two cameras. And oh my goodness, we have tried everything. And so we have minimized it to the greatest degree possible. So hopefully it doesn't distract anyone. But we are super excited to have Stephanie here today. So, if you are not aware, July is an exciting month every year at Outschool because this is our third annual Great Outschool Campout month. So, the official campout, first of all, it's virtual. You don't have to stress about, like, well, how am I ever going to get to whatever location? It's all virtual and super fun. So, it's the Great Outschool Campout, and it's officially held at the end of this month, but really the entire month of July we are talking about nature, we're talking about animals, we're talking about campfire stories, we're talking about all sorts of stuff. So last week we did s'mores bake along. We have Stephanie here today. We're going to be doing paper quilling, and you're thinking, what on earth does paper quilling have to do with camping? But at Outschool, we can connect anything. And look, Stephanie made us an adorable campfire paper quilling activity. So everything gets tied into camping. On Friday, we have Ben Corey, who is amazing, and teacher Natalie coming on to talk about creating a nature journal. We have teacher Jaquita joining us not next week, but the week after. And we're going to be building the perfect campfire story. So there's literally an endless supply of fun stuff to do. And that's before the Great Outschool Campout even starts. The Great Outschool Campout, we have classes about amphibians, and we have an author coming to visit. We're partnering with Leave No Trace. There's all kinds of awesomeness that's about to occur. So it's super exciting. So, I would love to introduce Stephanie. So, Stephanie, if you'd like to say hello and let us know a little bit about what you do at Outschool and what we're going to be doing today.
Yes, so hello everyone. I teach science and paper quilling art classes on Outschool. And I started off with just different classes to see what everyone liked when I started teaching on Outschool. And I was checking the biweekly list of classes that parents were looking for, and I was delighted to see quilling because I was already thinking about teaching quilling, but I was afraid there wouldn't be demand for it. But when I saw that on the list that parents were looking for that, it confirmed my decision to take the plunge and start leading the classes. And they've been great. I turn them into social clubs for interaction. It's perfect for homeschoolers that want a social club and an art class combined into one. And I have a younger group of Quilling Club and an older teenager group. And we've expanded to earrings for the teenagers, which is so much fun. So I just love it.
I love all of it. It's so awesome. So, I work on the team that kind of looks at and engages with and interacts on social media on behalf of Outschool. And Stephanie is always posting the most amazing quilling activities. So when I was planning activities for this month, right, and what we would do in anticipation of Great Outschool Campout, I messaged Stephanie, "Can you do something camping related? Because it would be so much fun if we could hop on and do some quilling." And let me tell you, I am a creative spirit and I have way too many hobbies. Way too many hobbies. But it took me about zero point 0.1 seconds to say, let's take on another hobby and let's get a full paper quilling kit and let's figure out what's happening here. So I'm super excited about it. So we've got some people watching. Hello, cool gamer. I love that you always tune in and say hello to us when you're here. Kaylee is here. Welcome, Kaylee. So we are excited today. So there's a couple of people who've hopped on since I explained earlier. We have a tiny echo with our audio today. Stephanie and I did everything we possibly could to troubleshoot it before we went live. So we got it minimized. So hopefully it is bearable for today, but stick with us, please. So yeah, I'm excited. Well, that's awesome, Stephanie. I love it. So can you tell us a little bit more? So throughout the month, I've said to people, I have Stephanie coming on to do paper quilling. And most people looked at me like, what is paper quilling? So can you maybe give us a little bit of an idea of what paper quilling is, and then we'll get started. And also maybe like some of the benefits of paper quilling from your perspective, what you've seen in your classes.
Okay, yes. So I started quilling when I was in middle school, and I learned all different kinds of art in middle school and high school art class. But I really gravitated towards the quilling. And now, as an adult, in retrospect, I understand why. Because I, like many other teenagers, suffered with anxiety. And there is art therapy, as many of you know. Well, quilling, I strongly believe, is an art therapy technique. And even though my classes are not designed for therapy, they're just designed as art classes, I know now why I gravitated towards that as a teenager. And it does make you feel relaxed. And I have students tell me, "Oh, Miss Stephanie, this is so relaxing." And that makes my heart happy because maybe they've been stressed about other subjects. Many students have a hard time with math. And so to have something that is relaxing, and we use the paper quilling strips like this that come in the kits are very affordable. But even if you don't have the kits, you can use things at your home like copier paper, construction paper. And the glue in the bottle is just Elmer's school glue, nothing special. The kits come with a quilling needle, but if you don't have a quilling needle, you may use a pencil. And when I was in middle school, we didn't have any of the fancy supplies. We used construction paper, a pencil, and Elmer's glue, and that's all we had. And then you'll need scissors. And then if you're using a measuring board, you'll need the little tweezers to help you pick it up. Unless you have really small fingers, then you can just kind of pop it up with your fingernails. And then this is called a curling coach. Now, I know this is a lot if you're not used to quilling. So feel free if you just have a pencil to use that, or you can follow along with all the other supplies. I originally made a tent and campfire. We won't have time for the tent. As you can imagine, paper quilling is very time consuming. Um, it's just an art form that you take slow and enjoy the process. It's not something you want to rush. It's because it's so enjoyable and relaxing. It's excellent for fine motor skills. For I have taught some children on the autism spectrum, the one-on-one private, and just for people that want to explore a new art medium, and especially now with the teenagers that are excited about making the earrings and making those to give or sell. And with the younger students, they enjoy making cards. It's great to make birthday cards or just little butterflies. They made things for Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Oh, I love that. That's so exciting. I'm super excited to learn today. Coralie is also excited to learn today in the comments. Welcome, Coralie. We are so excited. So, without further ado, Stephanie, you want to kick us off and tell us how we're getting started here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with green. You're going to
Okay.
need 6 brown strips. And I have in the chat box
I've got
the
it coming.
instructions. This is a really short pattern that I made. It's not an official quilling pattern in a book or anything special. It's just as I practice for my classes, I make little notes so I can remember. And then if what I create I don't quite like, I change up the pattern a little bit. So let's get started. For those of you that do not have a quilling needle, first I want to show you how to do it with your pencil if you're following along with a pencil. So in place of the quilling needle, you're just going to put your finger at the top and roll it around until it tucks underneath, and just keep rolling. Keep it as tight as you can and keep it lined up with your fingers and your nails. And this is how I learned when I was in middle school. And you're just going to roll all the way to the end of your quilling strip. Keep it tight and lined up the whole time. And then you just wiggle out your pencil, and this is a coil. You let it grow and expand to the size that you would like. And then whenever you want to close it off, you put a baby drop of glue right here, and that makes it a closed coil. Okay, so that is for those of you using the pencil. I don't want you to feel left out. Okay, now for those of us using quilling needles and the curling coach.
Can I ask you a quick question, Stephanie? My kit came with these little tabs on the end. Do I just pull that off or am I opening Pandora's box? Is there a better way I should be pulling out one strip?
That's a great question. Yeah, so this is just tape that connects the colors. So can you hold yours up? And there's different shades of brown. The quilling paper are just stunning. There's different shades. So you find which shade you want and then just pull off.
Okay.
Or if you want to separate the different shades, you're not going to mess anything up. It's just a way for them to package it neatly in that box because you will not be able to fit everything back in that box.
That's what I was thinking. If I pull off this tape, I may never get this back into a usable function. Let me check before I do that.
Yeah, so I get my students to buy these plastic shoe boxes or even a regular shoe box at your house. Because once you open that kit, you're not going to fit it back in.
Yeah.
So you can see all my paper strips here. This is just for one size. I have different size paper strips because we use different sizes for the earrings than for regular projects.
Okay, so I've got my strips now and I didn't create a mess. So we're off to a good start.
Okay, great. Okay, you're going to put your quilling needle through the curling coach like this, not on the rounded side, but on the side that has the quilling needle with two prongs.
Okay.
Now, these quilling needles can bend fairly easily, so be careful. I'm always helping, not my Outschool, but my in-person quilling students. I'm always helping them fix their quilling needles and mine as well. Okay, and you pull it almost all the way to the end of the strip and then curl it and roll towards your body. Were you able to thread yours okay, Megan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so just keep rolling towards your body. Go at your pace. Some are faster, some are slower.
Yes, it's very obvious you've done this before. Because I've gotten like 2 curls in, but that's okay.
Okay, and then just like how we wiggled the pencil out, we'll just wiggle off this coil. And this is a tight round coil. In my classes, we talk about the different shapes and the different types of coils because professional quilling books and directions will be using those. And if you look on the back of let me find it really quick. On the back of your paper, Megan, there was a card that is going to actually say the different shapes. Okay, here we
Is
go.
it that one
So
there?
this,
Oh.
if you find this card and you look at the top, there are quilling shapes. We have our first coil, and we want 3 size 15 of the brown. Find 15 and fit that in there. You may have to tighten it a little bit. Okay, we're going to add a drop of glue inside. That's what's nice about these precision glue bottles. Okay, well, let's let that one dry and we'll go ahead and make a size 20 to go right here. So again, you're going to put the paper in between the quilling needles. You're going to see prongs on both sides. Bring it almost to the end and roll towards your body, keeping it tight. Quilling is the art of rolling paper into beautiful pieces of art. And it's debated about where it originated. Many say Egypt, many say India. From my experience looking on Pinterest and Instagram, I think the most talented quilling artists in the world live in India. That's my personal opinion.
That's really interesting too, because you can kind of do a whole deep dive on cultural art and things like that once you get into it. I love that.
Absolutely. And in England a long time ago, only the very, very wealthy did quilling, and they had these ornate boxes. And they went and had their tea parties and did quilling, but it was only the elite.
So can I ask you a question, Stephanie?
Mhm,
Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see really well, but I watched you do the second one,
mhm.
and so I've got my piece of paper, right,
Yes.
around there, and I've got kind of the first little tuck. When I'm turning this, it's not moving. It's just rotating freely, and it's not actually coiling anything on this side. How are you getting it to turn the
Okay.
paper?
Okay. So make sure that it's in the quilling needle
Mhm.
and that it catches and tucks under. Maybe it didn't get a good
I
grasp in
see.
there.
Got it. Thank you for
Mhm.
that.
Yesterday, I had the challenge of teaching a left handed little girl quilling. So if you're left handed, you feel free to turn it around and do what is most comfortable for you. Because I'm sure this would feel very awkward if you're left handed to try it in the position I have it.
Now I've got it. Thank you for that
You
bonus
got
help.
it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we'll need three size 15 and three size 20 for our logs. Thankfully, if you have this measuring board, there are plenty of other size 15 and 20. And if you're following along and you do not have one of these boards, no problem. I can show you in the palm of my hand the approximate size. So the size 20, I tell my students, if you look, most of us have an elm in the palm of our hand. Have you heard that? So like look at my elm. Most of us have the letter M, like M&Ms. Do you have M's in your hand, Megan?
I think so, yeah. I've never
Okay.
noticed that.
Okay, so this size 20 fits at the top of my M, and this 15 is smaller. So you don't have to do exact sizes in quilling, just guesstimate. Okay, so far we have two 15s and one 20. And this brown is for our logs we're making, which will turn into rectangles. We're just using two different sizes so that the logs will not all be uniform because we know in nature they're not perfectly uniform.
Nope. So true. Oh, and you said leave it in there for the glue to dry. Got it.
That does seem to make it easier.
Yeah. Ooh, this is fun.
Now, it may not be relaxing if it's your first time,
Yeah, good
but
point.
by your second or third time, it is a relaxing art form.
Excellent point. Stephanie, do you
And
ever quill with patterned paper? Or do you always work with solids?
oh, now I have seen some variegated advertised before, but I never bought it. And then one of my teenagers in Outschool, so she has bought some of the metallic shiny paper. She's always one step ahead of me. Her name is Olivia. She may be tuning in now. You know who you are, Olivia. So when I mentioned the earring making, I told him I was going to have to really practice first. Olivia just was passionate. She got started on them before I did.
I love that.
I know. I almost felt like she should be teaching the class.
Hey, that's the true sign of an amazing educator, right? Is when the student reaches a point where they can do that.
Yes, the students are always motivating me to be a better teacher and to try new projects. And I ask them for inspiration. I asked them for what they want to make. It was their idea last week to make owl earrings.
That's so fun.
And then I also ask We did cupcake birthday cards for the younger Quilling Club last week because it was Amina's birthday. Shout out to Amina if she's watching.
I love that.
Okay, so I have my 6 brown coils for the logs. Okay, so if you're following along, just take your coil and we're going to make rectangles by squeezing down and then on the sides. It doesn't have to be perfect. And logs are all irregular sizes, but we're making rectangle. I squeezed on the top and on the sides to have 4 sides.
Look
We're
how
going to do
cute.
that with all 6 of these.
My logs might be a little bit more oval, but we're getting there. So I am kind of the control in this experiment. If you're watching this and you've never done this before, do not compare yourself to Stephanie. Compare yourself to me. Okay.
Because it's your
Right?
first time too, right, Megan?
Yeah, I've never paper quilled before. I bought the kit just for this live. Stephanie sent me the information, and the kit was not expensive. If anybody's doesn't have one today and you're thinking, oh, this sounds like a ton of fun, I think it was $25 on Amazon in
And
the
the
US.
paper. Yeah, and for Prime Days, the paper is on sale today. I just
Ooh,
looked.
our
Yeah,
timing is perfect then.
I know. Okay, so we have 6 logs,
Okay.
and I'm going to show you the back. There
My
you go,
log
Megan. Good
my
job,
log
Megan.
has a knot in it, which I'm kind of happy about.
Yeah, that's perfect.
There's a knot in my wood.
There's not a right or wrong with this campfire. I'm showing you the back. Just connect and glue the 6 logs randomly.
I have one log, but you keep going. I'm doing a good over here. I'm pleased with my pace.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you have some of your students watching today too, so they're sticking with you, but I'm working at day 1 pace.
Some of my students are faster than I am. And when I practice my patterns, like I have the pattern for this, I tell them if you come up with a better pattern, let me know because I want to hear
Right.
yours. Because when we made the owl earrings, a student had a better idea, and I take my students' ideas also. I'm not professional.
I love that.
Okay, so you can see there's not a right or wrong way to connect your logs here.
Look how cute.
Okay, now for our flames, you're going to want yellow, orange, and red. Or if you're just using construction paper today and you only have one color, that's fine as well. And we want 2 strips of all 3 of those colors. We're going to be combining colors into 1 strip. I joke and tell my students that we do incorporate some math in quilling.
That makes parents happy, so we're good.
Because we often have to do multiplication and division. Okay, with those 3 colors, we're going to divide these into fourths. Okay, so I have this long red strip. I'm going to divide it and cut it in half. Then I'm going to take both of these that are divided in half. I'm going to divide them again in half. So you should have 4 equal pieces. We're going to do that for the yellow and orange as well. And then we're going to glue them from end to end so that there is a gradual color change, yellow, orange, and red.
Oh, I see. We're doing like a gradient, like an ombre gradient.
Yes. Yes, so we don't need to buy that fancy variegated paper. We've got this.
I like it. Ooh, these scissors that come in the kit are really good.
They are.
Like most creatives, I'm a bit of a scissor snob and I like these.
They are sharp. I will say, if any families are watching with small children, the one tool that has a white handle and is very sharp, I would just even just throw that one away. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I would just throw it away. This is a more of an adult or teenager kit. It's not for small children, but there's not a, a children's kit that I'm too pleased with. And the scissors are sharp. So if your child is younger, you could have them use different scissors.
There you go. There's always a way.
Okay, so you see we have 4 orange, 4 red, 4 yellow. Now let's repeat that. So we have 8 of each color. That will give us 8 flames to add to our logs to make
Ooh,
the
how lovely.
campfire.
So, Stephanie, while we're cutting and sorting, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So I am a baker by trade, and I look at, and that's the very first thing I ever taught on Outschool. And to this day, that's what I do. And so I look at just about everything and wonder how I can turn it into a cupcake. That's kind of how my brain works. Do you look at things all the time, at like designs in nature or things that you see out and think, does your brain automatically start thinking, how could I turn that into a paper quilling design?
Yes. Okay. So my story for the sunflowers earrings for this next week's project is that my neighbor is growing the most amazing, beautiful sunflowers right now. She brought some over to give us. And then I told her, I'm feeling inspired. Can I
I
have
love that.
more?
That's so
So,
fun. I love it.
yes, definitely. Okay, now I hope you can all see with my document camera. I'm going to now attach yellow, orange, and red. Put drops of glue, just a baby drop. You know, paper is so lightweight. You never want to use a lot of glue with quilling. If you're making something really fragile that you're going to use, like a bookmark or earrings or something like that, you can always add Mod Podge later to make it stronger.
Excellent tip.
Okay, so we have yellow, orange, red. Let's go ahead and make a few of these and let them dry, and then I'll
Okay.
get started. And we're going to be making the flames and turning those into teardrops.
Ooh, fun. In fondant work, we use water as glue for because it's sugar, so
Hmm.
you don't need an actual glue. But my teacher taught me years and years and years ago when I learned to work with fondant, too much glue is the opposite of glue because you create mush,
Mm.
and then nothing works.
And I think that's why these little glue bottles are so important to use, because it's a reminder, a constant reminder. If you're having to squeeze it really hard to get a lot out, you're probably doing something wrong, unless it's just at the bottom.
Hmm.
And if you get serious into quilling, they do make these cute little funnels for when
Ooh.
you refill. Yeah,
Ah.
these cute little funnels, they're so cute.
You
Because
can just buy
I was trying to use
Elmer's
one in
but
my
in
kitchen.
bulk.
I was trying, yeah, exactly. I was trying to use one of my larger funnels in the kitchen and figure out something. And then one day I saw those at Hunter Creek Crafts. It's an online quilling company.
Ooh, fun.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you now that this is connected yellow and orange and red. We're going to start with yellow at the top in our quilling needle because we want that to be in the middle.
Okay.
I have studied flames and I believe that's how it works. But if you feel like the red needs to be in the middle, you can start at the other end. And I'm starting at the yellow end, so that will be in the middle of my coil. It can be a little tricky when you connect different colors because of that glue. Sometimes they don't stay glued, sometimes they do. Most of the time it works out well.
All right, I got past my first seam and it went okay. Let's see. I'm going nice and slow at the seams. So far, so good. All right, I'm keeping pace now, Stephanie. This is an
Yeah,
accomplishment.
great. Okay, great. So we have our tight coil. We're going to let it grow a little bit. And this is an example of when the glue can stick the different colors together. You can see that yellow kind of stuck a little bit, but I can work that out in a minute. Now we're not going to measure our flames. Just decide any size you want, because think about a campfire. The flames are all different sizes. Some go up really high and some don't. Okay, I'm working on the inside of mine. Some of that glue got those stuck, so pull on it a little bit if you need to. Okay. Now it should look like this. And we're going to make a teardrop. To make a teardrop, you're going to pull that spiral over to the left side and squeeze on the right side to make a teardrop shape. And that's our first flame.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. You know what, Stephanie, too? I'm a huge audiobook fan. And I could totally see I need something to do with my hands while I listen to an audiobook, or else my mind tends to wander. Um, and I could, so a lot of times, like while I'm folding laundry or cooking, I'll listen to my book. This would be great audiobook content.
Yes. Or even if the rest of the family wants to watch a movie that you don't really like, but you want to be in the same room and hang out, there's just so many different times.
Yeah. It's funny because I know when I went to school, I don't know about you, Stephanie, but it was always like if a student was doodling or something like that, that it was considered disrespectful or that you were distracted or you weren't paying attention, right? And of course, now we have all these studies that show that when, especially neurodiverse kids, but all people to some degree, can actually focus better when their hands are engaged, right? So even a lot of homeschool families I know do read alouds and things like that. This would be like great read aloud entertainment.
Oh, definitely.
My goodness, I have 2 flames. I'm so excited.
Okay, great. Yay.
Let's see. Kaylee loves listening to audiobooks while paper quilling. I'm with you, Kaylee. Kaylee, do you have a favorite genre of book that you like reading? Do you like fantasy or historical fiction? Or you just any book is good, right? There's those people as well that they're like, I bop around between all different kinds of topics, which is also amazing. I'm a historical fiction gal, and I just finished my book this morning. When I was kind of laying in bed, waking up, I knew I had not that much left, so I popped it on and finished it. And it's like the satisfaction of finishing a book, but now the sadness of having to get into another one. Oh, yes, you did tell me that, Kaylee, that you like Christian allegory and fantasy. I remember that now. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I do love audiobooks. How about you, Stephanie? Do you have a favorite genre you like to read?
Yeah, so I like Christian fiction and I like a lot of nonfiction,
Oh, lovely.
like how-to books, quilling books.
Yes.
I'm trying to eat healthier, so I I do have some cooking, some cookbooks, and
You can get new inspiration that way.
yeah, it's good to have inspiration for cooking, for eating healthier.
I like it.
Okay, so if for those of you that may be working a little bit slower, don't feel like you have to have 8 flames. That was just a suggestion.
I have 3, and I'm very happy with them, so, I
Yeah.
feel no pressure.
And that's what's nice about my quilling classes. Also, everyone works at their own pace. And I love the fact that Outschool has the recordings. So I tell my students, don't stress. If you are working at a slower pace, later you can rewatch the recording
Mm-hmm.
and watch the class again and finish up the project sometime during the week. And then we always share what we're making if the students feel comfortable.
I like it. Do you teach any flex classes also, Stephanie?
Yes, I do have one flex class. I sure do.
There you
And
go.
it is the tulip, watermelon. Um, Goodness, I'm drawing a blank, but there's
Sorry, I put you
four.
on the spot.
No. There's 4 or 5 projects.
You had campfires on the brain, and then I threw something else at you.
And then I have a camp where we'll do desserts. So here's a little ice cream, and we'll do ice cream, watermelon, and cupcake for the desserts camp.
Look how sweet. Literally sweet, huh? Okay.
All those cool treats are so yummy in the summer. I've been eating a lot of watermelon. So refreshing.
Yeah, well, when stuff like that is in season, you have to nab it while you can, right?
Hmm.
During strawberry season, so strawberry season ended here about 3 weeks ago, or the best of it, I should say. And, but when it was in, I'd go to the farmer's market on Saturday, and they would sell these huge baskets of it, and my kids would have that gone by Tuesday. No complaints from me. I was thrilled that they were enjoying them and eating fresh local fruit, so I was like, "Have at it, kids. I'll get more again on Saturday."
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So whenever you finish a flame, you can just put some little baby drops of glue on the back and find a place for it.
I have 4 flames, and I think what I might do is actually go back and make a couple more logs because I got a slow start with my logs. And so I have more flames than I have logs now, and that seems other seems unlikely in fire world, so I'll bulk up my logs a little bit. So Stephanie, I'll tell you, every time you say baby drop of glue, I have this moment. We kind of all have those moments with our kids that stick in our heads for years to come. And I have this memory when my kids were younger, I worked full time and traveled a lot for work and stuff. I had a very different job then. And so we had an amazing nanny for our kids when they were younger, and who helped me a tremendous amount while I worked. And she would do arts and crafts with the kids. And I have this vision of doing crafts with my daughter one day after work or on the weekend. And she was there with a bottle of Elmer's, just squeezing endless amounts of glue out of it. She was like 2 or 3, right? And she looked at me and she said, "Patty says just a little bit of glue," as she's pouring like mountains of glue out of the bottle. And she's a teenager now. And we still say to her sometimes when she's using glue, we say, "Patty says just a little bit of glue." And we all kind of crack up because we have this, this memory of her doing that. So every time you say baby drop, I think of her there with her Elmer's going, psh.
Yes, it's just a reminder to my students and myself that you
Yeah.
only need a little bit. A little goes a long way.
More is not always better, right?
Yes. Okay, and you can see that there is a lot of downtime for chatting with Quilling. That's why it's also perfect for a social club because we're working on our project of the day, and I give them a pattern and I work through it, but there's also a lot of time when it's just quiet and they can chat.
Mm-hmm.
We
So I'll
talk
say we
about,
get,
vacations and their hobbies and what they're reading, what they're watching.
yeah, I was going to say we get a lot of questions that come through our social media channels where people say, "I'm looking for my 12-year-old to make friends," or "I'm looking for
Mhm.
social classes," right? And I think sometimes when people start those conversations, they're looking for like a class that's titled like social classes for 12-year-olds, right? And we do have those. They exist. But my first question is, what is your 12-year-old like? Right? Because
Mhm.
it's going to be so much easier to make friends if you're in a room doing things that you have a similar passion about, right? So if they're sitting there learning quilling with other kids that are also creative, then it's going to be like, oh, the other day I was knitting a scarf, and somebody be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I crochet, right? And then they
Mhm.
kind of have this jumping off point to be able um to make friends. And so yeah, I'm a huge fan of using crafting classes or gaming classes or whatever it might be, book clubs, to make friends when you share a common interest.
And two students in the Teenager Quilling Club were excited to see each other because they actually have improv together. So they already had been in improv for over a year, I think, together. And then they joined at different times Quilling Club, and they're like, oh, yay! Because they
Very
knew each other from another class.
Yep, that's fun when that happens. I like it. Yeah, it's much easier. I mean, it's the same thing if you think about with adults, right? Like you were saying you had just moved, and I've just moved also, Stephanie. We've
Mhm.
moved a lot for my husband's job. And so everywhere you go, it's like, okay, time to make new friends and immerse yourself into the community. And for me, it's the homeschool community and things like that, right? But you could be in a room with, you know, 10 other women that are the exact same age as you and have not a single thing in common with them, right? And it
Mhm.
makes it really hard to have a meaningful conversation or to form a connection. But if you're in a room with people who've read all the same books as you or traveled to some of the same places as you or whatever the case might be, then it makes it so much easier to start to kind of form those connections.
Now, I will say when you stack your flames, feel free to stack it and have 3 stacks, or you can
Okay.
just do two. So the locks would be one layer, and then you can have flames, and you can have even a third layer of additional flames, or you
Ooh.
can just have two. So quilling is a 3D art because of the paper, but then you can take it to a whole nother level.
You can do 3D exponentially.
Yes.
All right, now I have more logs that my flames won't look silly. My flames are pretty tiny, but I'm okay with that. You know what I think I might do now that you've just said that, Stephanie, is I might make some flames. I've got 4 flames, but they're all pretty tiny. I think I'm gonna make a couple more flames that are larger and do that stacking. So I'll put the larger ones and then put my smaller ones on top. I'll let the other ones
Sure.
grow a bit more. See, I'm getting the terminology. Let them grow. Stephanie, my creative brain is running a little bit of a muck here, and I'm curious if people ever um, quill with plain paper, like maybe it's white or maybe it's newspaper or something like that, and then paint their quilling instead of using colored paper.
Okay. What I have some students doing and what I've done before is painted a canvas background or painted a card. And then once it dries, add the quilling.
Oh,
Yeah, I can grab a canvas really quick.
ooh, sure. Let's see. You post food pics from your cooking classes. Um, Yeah, I love when cooking class pictures come through because I get hungry while I'm looking at them when I'm working on social media. That is adorable, Stephanie.
Okay, so if you take a canvas, this is a canvas. You can just do a simple, green grass and blue sky. And then I added, let's see if I can show you. So we added flowers, there's tulips, a bee. The daffodils are very 3D.
Yes, look at that.
And clouds and sun. It was fun. We did this as a spring cooling club project.
That is so beautiful. I love that. How
And this
did you
is
do those tulips where
optional.
the bulb kind of came out like that or the
Okay, the
cone?
daffodils.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
it's very challenging. Um, It's quite a process. So that was a special class. So you just make the really tight, large coil. You're going to connect several strips of paper to make it very long. And then once you have your large, tight coil, then you take your finger and tap, tap, tap gently.
Oh.
It's a little tedious, but it turns out very beautiful.
I can visualize that process the way you described it. Thank you for that. Colleen says in the comments, "This is awesome, Stephanie. Looks like so much fun." It is so much fun. I've never paper quilled before, and I'm having the best time ever. I love it.
Well, are there any questions?
Yeah, good point. We
Am I
haven't
able to
had
see?
any.
Let me see if I can see in the comments.
None have come through yet. But we shall see. I think from the comments earlier, Coralie, you are new to paper quilling like I am, if I understood your comment correctly. How are you doing, Coralie? Not to hijack Stephanie's lesson, but I tell my creative students all the time, when you are new at something, it requires lots of grace, right? Giving yourself plenty of personal time to kind of get the hang of what you're doing. I always joke with my students not to compare their finished product with mine. I said, because this is not the first time I've done this. If it was, you've chosen the wrong class, right? You're in the wrong place if this is my first time attempting something.
Yeah, in Quilling Club, people join at different times, and some have been with me for almost a year, and because I've been teaching quilling for 1 year now in Outschool, and some are gradually joining, so they're at different levels, and I try to remind them not to compare their projects with others that have been doing it for many months.
Exactly. Yeah, you're setting yourself up for failure. Oh, you've done quilling before, Coralie. Thank you. So you were just excited to learn the campfire then. Still excited. I'm excited too, Coralie, and I'm thrilled you're here. How exciting. Are you done with yours, Stephanie?
Oh, yes.
So you're just waiting on me to make logs now. I'm just over here making flames and having fun by myself now. Oh my goodness. How about our learners in chat or our parents and learner combos that are crafting together? I love this. How are we doing? Do you need any more support from Miss Stephanie before we log off for the day?
So in this Facebook invite that was on the live, I put lots of coupons, lots of coupon codes if anyone wants to go and explore those.
Go do some more quilling. If you're watching on YouTube or in through the homeschool group, you might not have seen those. So if you are looking for them and can't find them because you're hooked on quilling now and you want to quill some more, send through a message and either myself or my teammate Sarah will be happy to send you those so that you can quill some more. You've got Mackenzie here, Miss Stephanie from
Hi,
class.
Mackenzie. Yes.
Mackenzie says they're loving the campfire. And as a
Mackenzie made some great pineapple earrings a couple of weeks ago.
How fun. I love it. As a reminder, if you're just tuning in or you missed the very, very beginning, which is no problem, the reason we are paper quilling a campfire today is because July is our third annual Great Outschool Campout. It's a virtual campout where we focus on all things nature and camping and being outdoors and being a good steward of nature and learning about animals in nature and plants in nature. So there's so much amazing programming. The Great Outschool Campout and all of the related programming are completely free. Sorry, I'm just working on my flame while I chat. They are all completely free. There are links in the description for this event to the learner community page where you can see all of the events that are part of the Great Outschool Campout. And if you are at all stuck on where to find something or how to sign up or anything of the sort, pop a comment in the thread, even if you're watching on the replay, right? I know it's summertime and we have a lot of replay watchers right now because people are outside at the lake and, doing all sorts of amazing summer stuff, which we are fully in love with, right? Everybody should be getting outdoors and having fun. So if you're watching on the replay, let us know what questions you have, and we will gladly circle back and answer those, whether it's about quilling or the Great Outschool Campout or anything else Outschool related. We are happy to help. So you can always send us a DM or comment here, and we will be happy to get you all of the information. Well, it seems like I am mostly the one who's still working. We've got a couple people in the chat who said they're nearly done. Here's the thing, my friends. If you are interested in sharing a photo of your campfire when you are done, feel free. If you are participating through one of our Facebook community groups, you can share it there. You can just create your own post and share a picture. If you're a learner, a parent can help you and just say, this is so and so's paper quilling. We had a great time, whatever, right? We would love to see it. If you were watching on YouTube, there's not a way to share photos through YouTube, but you can go to one of our other social channels like Facebook or Instagram or anything like that and share it through there, where photo sharing is a possibility. And we would love to see it. And I know Miss Stephanie would too. I'll make sure that she gets to see the
Absolutely.
ones that come
We would
through in
love
a
to see
channel
it.
that maybe she's not a part of. I will make sure she sees them. So we have a thank you in the chat. This was really fun. I totally agree. I'm on my last flame, but I am having the best time. So I will be sitting here quilling for the next 10 or 15 minutes after we are done. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for
Yes,
bringing us
thank
your
you.
time and your expertise and your enthusiasm today. It has been amazing. I have picked up a new craft, which I'm so excited about. And it seems like our learners had a good time. And what's not to love? It's been amazing. So thank you so much. I acknowledged at the beginning of the session that we had a little bit of a sound echo today. And thank you for sticking with us. Sometimes technology does what it wants, despite everyone's best efforts, right? So it was good. We've got another thank you for you in the chat, Miss Stephanie. And I agree, this was amazing. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we'll
you,
see you on
everyone.
Outschool. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye. Good
Bye.
to see everyone, or glad you
Yes.
could be with us.
Yes, I know this was amazing. Thank you so much.
Take care.